Vintage Magic, or as us YouTube boomers often call it, the good old days, has seemed to be set aside by most of the community in recent years. But is the idea of delving into Magic's history completely dead, or is this just a phase we're seeing? Well, let's talk about it. I would venture a guess that says most Magic the Gathering enthusiasts have had some exposure to vintage Magic the Gathering. Whether it's understanding what the reserved list is, buying some old cards of their own, or even just seeing someone at their local game store that had a binder full of these old school priceless treasures that you thought to yourself, man, one day I really want to get my hands on those. But there's no denying that in recent history, the vintage Magic market and the vintage Magic enthusiast has gotten rarer and rarer. So today we are going to talk about why. What is happening in today's Magic the Gathering that's affecting Magic from, 20 plus years ago. And then we want to talk about, is this permanent? Is this the way it's going to be forever? Or is there something else going on? And spoiler alert, I think there's something else going on. But when we talk about vintage Magic, we often focus on the reserve list. So we're going to start today's discussion with the most popular way to play Magic the Gathering. That's right. It's Commander. Now, Commander used to be a bit different, and especially when people do seem to reach into the vintage Magic market and buy these old school cards, outside of collecting, the only other real reason at a large scale is for Commander, especially with Legacy kind of being dead. Shout out Pleasant Kenobi. That video was amazing. Thank you so much for that. Depressing, but amazing. But so with vintage Magic being, kind of or Commander being a vessel for vintage Magic, I think it's really interesting that Wizards of the Coast has completely changed how us as enthusiasts engage with Commander. Gone are the days that we are going to buy one or two decks and buy these, priceless treasures to bolster and power up these decks. In fact, Wizards of the Coast gives us multiple Commander decks and brand new strategies with every release. Heck, going even beyond that, we get sub-series in sets, so subsets within sets of Commander cards, constantly giving us new toys to play with. Because of that, our Commander community has shifted. Instead of having one deck or two deck that they're finally, finding one or two cards to update every once in a while, they are building new decks with almost every release and trying out new strategies and new cards at a rapid pace. And because of this, it is much less important to have old school cards or these treasures, even powerful cards like, your dual lands or things on the reserve list. And it's much more important to find a pod that's willing to engage with this rapid release cycle and have some fun. So I think the core way that EDH enthusiasts engage with the way that they enjoy Magic is definitely going to affect the vintage market. But the bigger factor that's going to play is actually that rapid release cycle. We've talked several times on this channel about the rapid release cycle, and spoiler alert, I actually don't think it's all bad. In fact, with Chris Cox saying not every product is for you, I think if we as enthusiasts learn to, hey, we're going to leave some of this on the shelf and we're only going to engage with what we like, what we truly enjoy, and that's, hey, part of what we do here is we collect sales data and figure out what the channel and what the community is doing. I think that is almost a good thing. We will always have something that we can use. But a downfall of the rapid release cycle is, well, sometimes you don't really get any kind of emotional attachment to the set. The Lord of the Rings set does feel like the first time in a long time that we have had any kind of attachment to a product coming out. But other than that, we've been able to buy a product, engage for a bit, and then throw it by the wayside. Heck, I know that I don't treat most cards that I open in sets the same way. Most of them are sitting in bulk and just kind of forgotten about and ready to be shipped off because I'm on to the new thing. And vintage Magic does require a bit of an emotional toll. We have talked often that these cards from vintage Magic aren't the most powerful ones. There are some powerful ones, they will command a high price, but most of the cards in vintage Magic and these old school sets don't really command a high power. Heck, right here what I have is a Presence of the Master. This card from Legends is not a powerful card. It has amazing art that makes me smile, and I like collecting it. And I like this because it reminds me of a different time in Magic. I have an emotional pull to that card, to that time in Magic. I would probably never buy this card for its power level, and without that emotional toll, and especially as new enthusiasts come into the front door and engage with Magic the Gathering for the first time, they're not going to have that, and as they don't have that, they won't feel that pull into the past. Now, there might be an exception here. with the rapid release cycle giving us products and products and products, as we do become better consumers, let's say you're not interested in one set or two sets in a row and you think, hey, I just don't want to engage with these products. If you start to feel that way, maybe that's when you dip your toe into the vintage Magic market. You think to yourself, I haven't bought anything Magic in a while. I'm kind of feeling the itch. I got to scratch it. I'm going to try to buy some of these old school cards. Let me see some of these, what these old borders and old art and what the old cards feel like. Maybe that's a way you kind of get in. So again, there's a little window there, but I really don't think that it's anything that's going to cause any real substantial movement or any real substantial movement of people into that community. But finally, I think the biggest reason that we're not seeing a massive uptick in vintage Magic is actually a sign of the times. Wizards of the Coast, to their credit, have done a great job of really bringing collectability back to Magic the Gathering. It was a long time, let's say 2020, 2021, even early 2022, I personally delved into vintage Magic again because I felt like as much as I enjoyed playing Magic and new stuff and new sets, it felt like nothing was collectible, right? The whole saying, everything is special, so nothing is special. I can't get my hands on anything I really want to show off or that I'm really happy to have. And so because of that, to get that, scratch the itch, if I want to put something that's awesome in my binder, I would reach into the vintage card pool and collect some crazy reserve list cards. Heck, I have a binder full of just random reserve list cards I used to buy on a whim because I thought they were fun. But Wizards of the Coast has changed that, and there is collectible cards in modern Magic the Gathering sets. Hey, look behind me. There is serialized cards all across my walls because I really think that's a bolster in a collection for any hardcore enthusiast like me. I think it's very exciting, and to their credit, Wizards of the Coast have seen this, they've done this, and they have upped the collectability of regular Magic. But that's not to say it will ever match the collectability of something like the reserve list. I'm not making that claim, but it is a factor that when we can scratch that itch of collectability in modern Magic that we can just go buy off the shelf at our local game store, we don't feel the need to reach back into necessarily the old school stuff. Heck, we are enthusiasts, we are excited by new things. So again, that does not surprise me. But what does surprise me is people thinking that vintage Magic is just dead forever. I don't think that is the case. I think this is going to ebb and flow with the popularity of new Magic the Gathering sets. I mean, again, I harken back to a time that wasn't that long ago, 2020, 2021, even early 2022, times like that where the sets weren't feeling as good. I think vintage Magic was probably doing extremely well, and while I wasn't tracking every single sold listing on TCG Player like I am now, I could venture a guess that says people were buying much more old school Magic then than they are at this moment. And I think that's a good thing. As we ebb and flow, it gives us something to always reach back and remember Magic's history. But then also it says, hey, when the sets are good and modern Magic is popping off, we can detach ourselves from that a little bit and engage with Magic the Gathering. But what do you guys think? Do you think vintage Magic is just dead? Do you think modern Magic is killing it? Or do you think we will see a resurgence soon? I want to know from you in the comment section below. And finally, you got to share this video with a social media friend, group of friends, some forum that you like to be on, because this one is not modern Magic news. It will not get a ton of hits, so I need your guys' help. I don't ask for your help often, but I need your guys' help sharing this video and trying to get the word out there, because I think conversations like this are so much fun and I love having them. Well, we're racing towards 6K subs, so make sure, again, click that sub button. Thank you so much for hanging out. Until next time, you all know me. My name is Josh, and we will see you around. Bye.